Welcome to Life Esteem, a program committed to delivering information that's important to you and your community.
Hello, welcome again to Life Esteem. Always great to have you as a viewer. Hey, today we're going to talk about a real fantastic opportunity in our community. If you haven't heard of it, it's called The Voice, 17104.com. It is gospel radio at its finest, and it's right here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, believe it or not. It is Brother Christopher Thomas and Sister Melissa Thomas, husband and wife team. They are the masterminds behind The Voice. So welcome to the show, y'all.
Thank you so very much for having us.
Yes. Hey, tell us all about The Voice.
Well, actually, The Voice started a little over a year ago. Actually, I worked in radio probably about 8 years or so, and I remember being at my full-time job. I was cooking at a restaurant here in the city, and I felt as though I was wasting away. And I heard the voice of God say, "What's in your hands? You're miserable here. What's in your hands?" And what I had in my hands was a bunch of radio experience and a bunch of CDs. I said, "Well, God, what do you want me to do with a bunch of radio experience and a bunch of CDs?" And seeing that Harrisburg's always been known for a strong gospel or R&B or a music station. And then when we lost WIZZ, then we lost the touch. God said, "What was in your hands?" So what was in my hands was a radio experience. So God told me to start The Voice 17104, which is worldwide community radio.
It is fantastic, too, by the way.
And please note that it is worldwide. This is not just local.
No, ma'am. It's local first, and we call it local global community radio.
Okay.
And how do people get the channel itself, or the station?
Well, there's actually many ways you can actually listen to our station. It's a digital station, so first and foremost, it's always available using practically any Wi-Fi compatible device, whether a smartphone, whether a laptop, iPad. You can also, we have actually partnered with another organization called Audio Now, which allows all of our digital content to be also heard using the convenience of any telephone as well.
Fantastic. And Melissa, your lovely wife there, you have your own show.
Oh yeah, The Daily Saga.
What's the name of it again?
The Daily Saga.
The Daily Saga. Okay.
Yes, the Daily Saga was given to me when I was actually sick in the hospital. And God told me, "You're my child. You just forgot where you came from. But now that you remembered, I'm going to give you something for you to use." And he said, "You are special, anointed, and God appointed." So that's where the Daily Saga came in, being special, anointed, and God appointed.
And what time are you on?
I'm on from 3 to 4 every day, Monday to Friday.
Go ahead now.
Never stop.
Go ahead now.
Always doing the work of God.
Yeah.
You know, because this is what we're supposed to be doing. It's about kingdom. And that's what he gave us this station for.
Fantastic.
Because the station is not our voice. It's the voice of the Lord.
All right. And Brother Chris, you have your own show?
Yes, sir. Well, I'm actually the co-host of my wife's show, which is actually one of our longest airing shows. Actually, about a month or so ago, we celebrated our 1-year anniversary of the Daily Saga. And actually, like my wife said, it's one of our most listened to programs and one of our longest airing programs as well.
It's even more listened to than Consider This?
It's probably running a close tie.
I got to talk to Justin over there.
So there's no competition there.
Actually, all the shows are pretty well listened to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because we put them on, we also put them on Facebook, so people click on them, and they be like, "You didn't tell me that Pastor Gadsden was on your radio station." Yeah, well, he is.
Yeah, I am. In fact, I love the show. We do like Consider This on Wednesday evenings, and then it comes on again on Thursday, and have a lot of fun with it. By the way, I said to our viewers that halfway through the show, we're going to have Justin Geis
Yes, sir.
come on. He's the program director, and he'll be coming on in just a bit to talk to us as well. So what, we know why you decided to start it, and you had to, of course, find your footing. So how did you bring all these ministers together and all these other people to create these dynamic shows?
Well, since I've worked in radio almost 8 years, I actually worked for a small station out of Sharmanstown, Pennsylvania. It was called the 720 The Rock, WWII. I worked for the mayor of Sharmanstown almost 6 years. And actually it was very unique how I got my start in radio, if I may just kind of share just a little bit of it. Our church had a radio show that we paid for. It was called Foundation for Greater Glory. and that started early in 2000 or so. And I did a 5-minute segment. It was called Power Insights, where I shared a bunch of information, a bunch of revelation from the Bible in about 5 minutes. So I crammed a lot of teaching and a lot of revelation from the Spirit into the Power Insights, and we did that for about a year or so. And the show became so popular that it went from a half hour. The church began to sponsor it for a full hour, and then after doing that about 2 years or so, the owner of the radio station enjoyed the production work that I did for the 5-minute segment that I did, and he offered me a part-time job at 720. Sooner or later, that part-time job led into a full-time job, and then I started doing full-time radio from noon to 6 p.m. And then I had my own radio show there. It was my own sponsored show. Apart from my job at the radio station, it was a show called It's All Right to Get Your Praise On.
I remember you from Brother Thomas Strawbridge.
Yes, sir. Actually,
Yeah.
yes, I was actually the program director for one of the first global internet radio ministries here in Harrisburg. It was called melodiesandmore.com.
That's right.
They called it MAMR. But internet radio was such a new medium, they didn't take
Yes.
it serious as a form of communication. I really wish people would have bought into it then, because we would have had that was way before Pandora and iHeart was even popular. I'm sure they were around, but they weren't really popular back then. So people said, internet radio, what is this? The people listen to it. Now, there's not too many places you can go where internet radio isn't. Not too many people carry around a boombox or a AM FM radio. No one that I know, back in the 80s, back in the 90s. But now everything is smartphone, Wi-Fi accessible, even cars. If some cars have internet radio, or they have auxiliary jacks. You can plug in your internet
I have
radio.
Pandora right through my car.
Yes, ma'am. And now our that allows our radio station to be mobile and to be able to be taken on the go wherever our listeners at. They can hear our content using Wi-Fi or using the Audio Now telephone number as well.
Now, you have different shows, as you indicated. Are you available Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday? I mean, what's your format in regard?
Our format is a community-based format. First and foremost, it's faith-based, but we don't just limit the people that broadcast on a radio station to pastors or ministers. If you have a unique idea, if you have a unique concept, if you want the world to hear what you're doing in our area, actually, to God be the glory, we've actually had listeners in 107 countries around the world in 1 year of broadcasting.
That's great.
And it's not because of our goodness, not because anything special we've done, but just because the favor of God that's on our lives, that because we don't advertise barely here in Harrisburg, unfortunately. We know advertising is a big part of businesses to get the word out. You can have the best product in the world, but if no one knows about that product, it's not that well. So yes.
How does internet radio compare to other forms of getting out, globally to individuals through webinars, teleconferences, other means of sharing a message? Is it that people don't have access to you through internet radio?
Yes, ma'am.
They can't call in, or can they call in?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
that's what I'm
We have
wondering.
yes, ma'am. We have a live call. It's just like a regular, conventional, or traditional TV
All
or
right,
radio
okay.
station. You can actually call in. Pastor Nate has actually used the phone to interview a couple of his guests before.
That's right.
There are several different programs that we have on a radio station. We have a bilingual program. It's hosted by a young lady by the name of Dominga de Jesus that comes on every Thursday from 2 to 2:15 p.m. Since we have a huge population of Latino and Hispanic people here in the city and around the nation abroad, it was our way of giving back to the community to allow her to do a bilingual program. We also have a radio show. It's called Reach Out. I'm sure my program director will talk about it a little bit. It deals with social justice issues and how they affect our community and how they affect the world abroad as well. We also have another interesting show that started about 6 months or so. It's called Real Rap with Ron Chappell, and I'm sure you're familiar with Brother Ron.
Oh, yeah.
He actually discusses community events, community news, things going on in our community, but then allows his radio show to be a platform to people to express their opinions about what's going on with local news and events as well. Another very popular show that's on a radio station, it's called Teen Speaks Out. And actually they're giving out a $100 gift card every month to young people that are excelling as an incentive to keep on excelling in things that young people are doing, whether you're excelling in school, whether you're excelling in your community, whether you're excelling in your church. They honor one young person a month during Teen Speaks Out, and that airs every Monday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We also have another unique program, and I don't want to keep going on. Another unique program is called Nadine's Arts House. It's a worldwide community theater, and that airs every Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m., and they use a lot of local cast members.
I was going to say, what do you mean by community theater? To put on an actual play?
Yes, sir. It's like a radio theater.
Okay.
A lot of people back, a long time ago, radio was one of the main forms of communication. People, the whole family used to sit around the radio to listen. Yes, ma'am.
I'm not going to take that.
So actually, we try to bring that back.
Yes.
Be able to allow people to do drama on the air so people can listen to it like they used to a long time ago.
I like that.
amazing,
Now, Sister Melissa, you mentioned that your program focuses on uplifting the spirits, I guess.
Yes,
Is it mostly
yes.
focused towards women?
No, it's actually focused towards
Okay.
everyday people.
Okay.
Men, women, children. Because I discuss like suicide.
Okay.
I discuss battered women, drug and alcohol, and I give it to them from the God way, the aspect using God's concept to bring it to them. Because there are so many out there
Yeah, there is.
that's
Yeah.
on drugs.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we discuss that and how they can get out of it, and we discuss. Like I said, we discussed a lot of suicide because
Yeah.
kids are definitely in suicide today.
That's true.
Like we did the revival, God had showed me, someone that was in the audience who was contemplating suicide.
Yeah.
So at the end of, when I spoke at the revival, at the end of that, I went to the guy, and I didn't want to because, sometimes you pull people out and
Yeah.
they're not very comfortable.
They're not ready, yeah.
But I went to him, and it was a good thing because he was really contemplating suicide that night. So I went to him and I said, I don't know what it is you're afraid of,
Okay.
but God showed me something on your life. And he said, well, I'm afraid of being alone. And I said, well, he showed me, because you're afraid of being alone, he showed me your suicide contemplation. So I talk a lot about that. I talk a lot about cancer, being a survivor. I talk a lot about being aware, going to doctors and making sure that you are, you check yourself.
Sure.
Because us as women, we don't like to go. And a lot of men don't like to
Yeah,
go.
we know
So I
that's true.
talk about
Very
that.
stubborn.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
I can't remember the last time I was at the doctor.
Oh,
That's
no.
probably not a good thing.
No. That's right.
I talk about that because that's what happened to me.
Okay.
I didn't go to doctor.
Yeah.
And the time I did go, it was life-threatening.
Wow.
So I try to make people aware of that now.
Are people able to call into your show?
Yes, they do.
Okay, good. Well, excellent, excellent. You mentioned the revival. Brother Chris, talk about that because that's another part of your
Actually, yes, sir.
outreach.
Actually, even before the radio station began, I've been involved in evangelistic ministry here in Harrisburg, PA. We used to do outreaches called Community Days. We used to probably have between 300 and 500 people each year. We set up a stage outside. We give out free food, face painting for the kids, have music, and give out things, information, resources, have a bunch of vendors come. So we went from doing that to the internet radio, the worldwide radio ministry. And we went from that to wanting to impact not just locally, but impact our world abroad, because the Great Commission tells us to go out into all the world and to teach this gospel of Jesus Christ to the four corners of the earth. And we can't do that sitting behind the four walls of the church. So God gave us a unique idea to actually take a 300-person circus tent, and we erected it in Uptown Harrisburg. We had it there at 6th and Maclay for a while, actually Jefferson and Maclay for a week. And then we moved it out to Hall Manor, out in Center Field Hall Manor. A lot of people thought we were absolutely crazy for wanting to take the tent out there. But these are the people that I believe the Lord is the most concerned about. He's concerned about us, but he's concerned about people that are often walked upon, people that are often overlooked. So it's a way of us taking the gospel into the four corners of the earth. And actually starting next year in spring, we have an invitation to go to Ghana, and we have an invitation to go to India, and we have an invitation to go to several different states to allow revival to break out. And it's a non-denominational, we call it a non-denominational Holy Ghost revival. And there's like 12 churches that network and partner with us. We have flag wavers, we have shofar blowers, we have dancers, and we have a nice selection of ministers from around the city that come and share the word of God. We actually did something very unique at the last tent revival we did, and we had a play. It was called Testimonies from Hell. We did that.
We're going to have to switch up. Thank you for sharing that. We're going to ask our brother, Justin to come in, and Sister Melissa, we're going to ask you to switch up with him.
Thank you. Thank you for
You guys are
having me.
doing dynamic work.
One of the things I think is really this format is really it could allow numerous of people to take advantage of their message.
Yes, ma'am.
And getting that out. I'm gonna have to talk to you, 'cause I have a show.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
And
ma'am.
mine as well. But one of the things I was interested in hearing the one show that the Hispanic young ladies doing is 15-minute segment.
Yes, ma'am.
So it doesn't have to be a whole hour.
Well, no, actually, we have time slots available on our radio station. Some are 15 minutes, a half hour, or an hour.
okay.
Or one of our longest shows, which is the Real Rapper with Ron Chappell's show, that show airs for 2 hours. So we have a 2-hour program as well. You can have as little or as much time as you want, depending on your specific needs. If you have a lot to say, like Pastor Nate, you need a full hour. But some people, they don't have a lot to say, but they have something to say. So some people want the 15-minute or the half hour.
Okay, good.
Okay, so that's good to know.
Yeah, yeah.
And how do people get in touch with you if they're interested in moving forth and pursuing
Yes, ma'am. If
opportunities?
they're interested in getting in touch with us, we do have a local telephone number. That's 717-745-8547. We also have an email address. It's thevoice17104@gmail.com.
gmail.com.
Good,
All
good,
right.
good. Well, it's glad to have Justin join us. Justin, welcome to the show.
Pastor Nate, thank you for having us.
All right.
This is a wonderful show. And gosh, I've seen some of the old episodes. You really get into it. You really cover the community. It's
Fantastic. So talk about your role there at The Voice.
Well, just to be honest, I never envisioned a life in broadcasting or even an experience broadcasting when I first came into it. I started with community center, just helping Chris run a community center.
Okay.
And so he brings forth this idea of community internet radio. Initially, we were considering doing terrestrial radio, but the onset costs are so great.
Okay.
But then he comes up with this idea of community internet radio. I'm like, that sounds cool, but I know almost nothing about it.
Right.
I mean, I'm technically proficient. I knew, the background and all, electronics and all that, and sound,
Yeah.
but not so knowledgeable about radio itself. So this has been a great learning process for me.
Okay.
But as program director, pretty much what I do, both in going out and helping to gather the programs and to recruit those who want to do programs with us, is to craft our message and our content, and to choose the songs and the patterns and the promotions that we do. That's also a big part of what we do. We do audio promotions both for the shows on our station and just for any local organizations or businesses, and digital promotions as well. So we cover a wide gamut of media.
Fantastic. Good stuff. And also, you guys have taped. I don't know if you've gone on site and you've
Oh,
actually
yes, sir.
taped
We
any
actually
video and
do
stuff.
some video recording for people that need, that want to remember their events. And we can actually post that on social media. So it just increases the awareness of what the individuals or organizations are doing that we're capturing the footage for.
Now, let me ask you a specific question. I know you guys are, involved in community and Melissa. And so, here we are in Harrisburg, which is a pretty large, moderate sized, city, that kind of thing. But the format that we're missing, of course, is an African American black music format. Even the gospel.
Yes,
Until
sir,
you guys
yes,
came
sir.
along, we had that one show, Echoes of Glory, I think has been around for a long
Yes, sir.
time. So,
Right.
thank God for them. But I mean, really, for a city our size, we should be a whole lot more.
Yes, sir, we should.
Right.
And actually, to fill that void, I'd be remiss if I didn't say Sonia Hawkman's Cotman.
Yes.
She does a wonderful show every Sunday. It's from 9:30 to 1:30 p.m. It's called Sunday Praise, and she invites local pastors to share about what's going on at their ministry, if they're having special events or things are going on. And she mixes that with music and also inspiration from the Word of God as well. So it allows our community, once again, to have a gospel station that they can tune in to add to their Sunday morning routine before their Sunday morning worship.
Yeah, good stuff.
To mention on that, we actually do broadcast live 7 days a week.
Okay.
I mean, it's not something that I've thought about a lot, but we really do several hours of live programming every day.
Yeah.
Like we're a small format. I mean, you've been to the station, of course. It's a small station that has that feel of the traditional radio,
Yes, it
yet
does.
in the package of the modern day digital format where people listen through their digital devices.
Yeah. It's really good. I have to be honest with you. I love it. And do either one of you remember the phone number that a person can call? Because I want them to hear that right now. Because it's free for them to call that phone number and they get it right on there.
Yes, sir. It's 605-475-8125.
Okay.
Again, that's 605. 605-475-8125.
I know people worry about data charges sometimes because
Yeah.
your data plan may only have 3 to 5 gigabytes, and you
Okay.
can call that number and it's good quality. It's
Okay.
a good quality sound. It's just so you can
Yeah.
announce on your phone like you're just listening via your app.
But the main thing is free.
Yes, sir. And a lot of the
free.
third world countries, they don't have Wi-Fi, they don't have 3
Right.
or 4G, so it allows places like Haiti and other places outside of our continent to tune into the program without incurring huge, rates for using your data package for downloading music on the internet as well.
So just like Pat said, she may have an idea for a show. So someone that's sitting there listening to us, watching this program right now, they might say, oh, I'm interested in that. Justin, how do they go about it? Should they contact you and talk about the programming idea?
Sure. I mean, and probably the best way to do, you can call and of course that number, and of course speak to me and we can discuss it, or just lay out all your ideas in a document and email it to thevoice17104@gmail.com. That's probably the best way to do it. Follow up with a call just to make sure that I've seen it.
Okay.
But the email is the best way, and I'll see it regardless. I check it every day. Well, it notifies me whenever an email comes in, so I'll see it. But it'll
Let me
be,
ask you about, Justin, I don't mean to cut you off. Let me ask you about that, though. If someone did, in fact, have an idea and they did send in an email with the format and, what they want in direction, is there some format or way that you kind of make sure that these people are legit, the message that they are definitely wanting to present is something that is wholesome and that's something that the community can be aware of?
Oh, sure. We have a whole criteria for that. Often the first step in this process is to come into the station and to just have an interview with Chris or myself. Often it's Chris, radio veteran, pro, the whole bit. He'll do a great interview, and 15, 20 minutes depending, and just get a sense of the person and what they like, and just for them to get an experience at the station as well.
Okay.
But we have guidelines. It has to really fit with our mission.
That's what I'm thinking, yes.
Yeah, which is that faith-based, community-driven station. And community is really important to us. That's part of what is so hard to build in cities, and especially Harrisburg. Not that Harrisburg's worse, but Harrisburg, it's tough. And that building community is quite important, and that's very important to us, and that's one of our big functions.
Sure, okay, yeah.
So again, our format's not just limited to pastors. It's extended first and foremost to pastors or ministers. But again, as long as your idea is family friendly, because we have all ages, all kind of ethnicities that listen to our radio station. So it's not just limited to people that have a pulpit. We actually had a program that was called Open for Business, and a young lady went around and interviewed a lot of local businesses about starting up to give their local businesses a worldwide appeal and a worldwide awareness as well. So if you're interested, we can actually email what we call a program proposed application. So if you have an idea, you could fill out the application, you forward that back to us, then we invite you into the studio so you can see where we're at. We actually just recently relocated, probably about 9 months or so ago, to the Derry Street Church, and we're located at 1508 Derry Street, and we have the whole third floor right there at 1508 Derry Street, right in the same building that you have your church as well.
That's right. Brother Matt Granderson is the pastor of Derry Street United Methodist Church, and they've opened their doors to our ministry, and of course the doors have always been open to Crossroads Baptist Church.
Yes, sir.
And now, of course, the Voice. And so that building's over there is jumping. And also the Allison Hill Community Ministry is there as well.
Yes.
And so everything's it's really a great thing. So it's 1508 Derry Street, and we want you to come out and support. Now a lot of stations, like let's take for example, public TV, whatever, they have membership drives.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We want to have a membership drive for
That's
the
good.
Voice.
That's good, sir.
Because we want the community to be
good.
involved in this and to be a part of it. And so one of the things that I hope that we will talk about is how we will get members to call and make those pledges to the station, and then what they will get for that pledge, that kind of thing.
Yes, sir.
Because this is a community-driven,
Yes, sir, it is.
community-supported radio effort, and it's much needed.
And it's not to make anyone rich. It's just to provide a service to our community, to fill the void of the lack of gospel media. Also, not just gospel media, but also community-based media. So it's allowing our community to once again have a voice to express ideas and opinions that are important to them.
Yeah, and so many people from the community have embraced. About how many shows do you have on right now? If you just off the top of your head, Justin, Chris, how many guys?
15, is it 15?
About 15?
I know it's probably over a dozen or so.
Okay.
Yeah, probably 10 to 15.
Okay.
So you have time slots available.
Oh, well, there's 24 hours in the day. So we have
okay.
a lot of time in the mornings, a lot of time in the evenings, a lot of time on the weekends, and there's some afternoon hours that are available. But not only does our radio station impact using the digital means, but we also use the social media as well. We take the same programs because a lot of our listenership isn't live. Once the person broadcasts their program, we take that same program, and then we take that same program file, and then we add it as a playable file on social media. So all your friends and all your family, all your loved ones that may not be able to catch your live program because of everyone has responsibilities and other commitments. So not everyone can tune in or log in at a certain time, but they can always go to your social media page, either your direct social media page or for your organizational page, and they can click play and listen to it on demand, which is a very popular feature of our radio station as well.
The reason why this is so important, I'll let Justin jump in here, is because I remember when I first saw the word network in operation. We were at a conference somewhere, and it came with all this stuff, and I thought, the word network, okay, right? And now I'm seeing it because it's on our, local, cable affiliate, and so it's worldwide. And they started off just like you guys have started off, just, a basic station, and now it's just kaboom, and they're the largest African-American religious network in the world.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
And everyone's buying into it. Every show you see on there, people have bought into it.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Amazing stuff. Justin, you were going to say something.
And really, what we're saying, both the live broadcasting and the station streaming, and what we're talking about, the podcasting or the social media aspect, we want to be that dynamic purveyor of content. Whatever the means people want to listen to that content, that's where we want to be. And as that changes and as it grows and as new technologies develop, we want to be there. We want to still keep our core group of broadcasters and messages the same and grow accordingly, of course, but that whatever form of media people want to see or hear, that's where we want to be, which is why we're also working on, in the future, live video streaming as well. And I'm proud to announce that also we can do live remotes from events now. We've just recently not gained the technology, but purchased the means to do live broadcasts from events.
You have a customer here, because we'll be talking about that, because I always thought that was, just for example, we just did Kwanzaa, and Brother Chris was one of our principal speakers, and that was an excellent message that you gave. And so to be able to live stream that and be able to talk to the vendors and different people as we were going along, that would have been fantastic, But I have to tell you, I used to be a part, I have a show on WMSP when it was down off of 2nd and what is that, Chestnut Street, I think it is, and it was Market Square Presbyterian Church, and it had the same concept you have. It wasn't internet necessarily, but it was community people coming in doing the shows, and it was huge. And then, of course, that kind of went away. So you guys are really on to something. I hope that you will continue to be blessed. I know you will continue to be blessed. Just continue to do what you're doing, and I really appreciate you're making it happen for us.
Yeah, we appreciate you being on. We're getting ready to run out of time.
Oh, we run out of time? Well, we run out of time. But I really hope that you will support The Voice, 17104.com. It is on 24/7, and you will be blessed if you do. I want to thank Melissa, Justin, and Brother Chris.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for watching this program called Life Esteem. And don't forget, we come on here on Channel 21, and we're re-aired on Channel 20. And we want to thank both of these stations for doing what you do. They are community partners. They allow us to have this voice and to bring the voice of community on. And we hope that we're doing an admirable job for you to keep you informed and to let you know what's going on. There's so much going on in our area that we are proud of, and that's the reason why we created the show called Life Esteem, because we want to lift up the good. See you next time on Life Esteem. Goodbye.